Be careful with long-term use of hormonal birth control, y'all. Yeah, I am a young, healthy woman with no history of ever spending a single night in the hospital since I was born. And at the age of 28, I recently experienced 2 strokes caused by my birth control. This happened in the left occipital lobe. So, because the brain controls so much, this affected my right field of vision. Sorry, y'all, I misspoke. I actually experienced more than 2 strokes. On the MRI results, I actually experienced at least 2 more strokes prior to the strokes that I'm talking about now. Apparently, this has been going on for a while. Some of these strokes probably happened in my sleep. On the MRI results, you'll see the term infarct a few times, and you'll see it being used in plural. An infarct is basically an area of dead tissue in the brain due to a blood vessel blockage, meaning I had multiple strokes. All I remember is I work from home, so I remember I'm looking at one project on one side of the screen and looking at the other version of this project on the other. And I just remember out of nowhere, I couldn't see the right side of the screen. I couldn't see the whole right monitor. And I don't know if other girlies get this too. I always thought this was normal when you get those spinning kind of kaleidoscope looking circles in your eye when you have a headache or a migraine or something like that. I was seeing those circles or colors or whatever you want to call it, but it was huge. It was like a big just space on that side of the screen. And so I signed out of work with the worst headache that I ever had in the entire world, and the whole right side of my vision being blocked. I'm thinking it's just my right eye. So I'm like, it's time for me to stop looking at the screen. Let me just close my computer. Because I'm dealing with what I assume is just a really, really bad migraine, I just fall asleep. I just go to sleep, and that next day I still couldn't see anything, and I was in the hospital, and there's multiple doctors and specialists, nurses, and everybody telling me that I had a stroke and to immediately remove my birth control ring. Etonogestrel ethinyl estradiol birth control ring, aka NuvaRing. And sorry if I chopped up that pronunciation. I'm not a medical professional. I'm just a young, seemingly healthy woman in my 20s with no history of any blood clotting, any rare clotting issues or disorders, or any issues with my brain, no defects with my heart, brain, or blood. And I went from just living a normal life to the next day having a severe blood clot in my brain. And this happened back to back, so it took a minute for the birth control to fully clear out of my system. I look nothing like what I've been through, clearly, and I'm just so grateful to just still be me. I've seen what strokes do to people. I've seen this in my family. I've seen this just in life overall, how a stroke just happening in a certain area of the brain could just be, like, I'm not paralyzed. I can speak. I have my memory. I can walk. I have my mobility. The vision, like, it is what it is, and my God is who he is, and that's been getting better over time. So I'm not even going to use the word blindness to describe that, but this needs to be a story time in itself. And at some point when I'm ready to get on here and be fully vulnerable and cry, and probably have y'all cry with me, we're gonna get to that video. And I feel like the reason I delayed talking about this is not just because like I'm holding back on being vulnerable or crying on camera or anything like that, but I'm truly processing what that was. These past few months have been just like a wave of different appointments with cardiologists, hematologists, neurologists, every type of specialist. At some point I want to take y'all with the story time and show y'all like my vision test results, what's been happening over these past few months, and just this roller coaster of things that have been happening since this happened to me. The effects of birth control are very wild and not talked about as much as they need to be discussed. And what happened to me, it could be considered rare, but it's not impossible. Being cautious and aware of what birth control is capable of doing in women's bodies is number one of the 29 things that every woman should know. But I'm Kels, and if you made it this far, you might as well go ahead and hit that subscribe button now. I got a lot that I could say about navigating life. And like my exes, you ain't gonna find nobody else like me. So take this time right now to hit that subscribe button. I'll wait. Did you click it? Thank you. Come on in. Alright, number 2. You do not have to have it all together. That's just life. I feel like this is a good one for our generation because social media definitely be messing people's heads up. Please, just don't place that unnecessary anxiety on yourself. There will always be something to work on. There will always be something to improve on. In this life, there is no such thing as perfection. You don't have to have it all together. Just remember that. Don't be afraid to start over. I learned very early on that life does not end when a certain chapter ends. I really think like my family dynamic kind of helped with this one because just the fact that I have a stepmom and a stepdad, step siblings, just shows the direction that life can take when you start over. And it was probably meant to be that way. I feel like this scares people because in order to start over, that means you have to end something. Maybe something that you're not ready to let go. Whatever that is, don't be scared. If you don't feel yourself progressing in the way that you need to, don't be afraid to start over. Compete against yourself. Competing against other people, that just makes you miserable. You go further when you are competing against your own progress. It's you against you. Have a positive social media intake. Spend your time building your feed, helping that algorithm know the things that you want to see. Let it be things that are wholesome, productive, things that lift you up and not always make you feel like, dang, I need to have this, I need to do that. I feel like there's been like times where I just would completely deactivate, but for some reason I still want to scroll and see what's going on. And I've noticed what helped lift me up and inspire me was just repurposing my feed and my social media intake with things that were productive, meals that I could cook, positive think pieces, realistic blogs. You find yourself just wanting to scroll, let it be stuff like that. Double tap that type of stuff. And when none of that works, touch grass, smell the fresh air, get off the phone, turn it off. Okay, your social media life should not overwhelm your real life. So much more to life. Touch grass. Give people grace, not access. All this is to just forgive people without extending them the opportunity to play in your face again. Sometimes you just gotta be like, I give you grace because that's probably what you grew up seeing, but you don't get the access to continue to do that to me, period. Defend your boundaries. Defend your boundaries. I got stories about this. I think what holds people back from saying no when they want to so badly is because they don't want to make a moment uncomfortable. But when you're already uncomfortable, you can't prioritize someone else's comfort while you sacrifice yours. No is a complete answer, and if it's not, so are these hands and this pepper spray. Leave me alone. Moving on. Check these holes gracefully. It is so important to get into the practice of addressing issues clearly and articulately. Like, I'm really big on reading people for filth that play in your face instead of just jumping straight to the crash out phase. You don't need to be passive. You don't need to be aggressive. You don't need to be passive aggressive. Just be direct. This one might be a little hard, but I truly believe like in moments where your emotions and your patience are being tested, know how to check people gracefully and articulately, being able to read them for filth and let them know where they went wrong with playing in your face. Address things with receipts. Get them emails together, get them receipts together. Learn how to formally complain. Learn how to get in touch with an attorney. When the clapback is just so articulate and intelligent and graceful, you can gag people. Like, leave them, gag them. Let that lump form in their throat and look. I want to say, just like the tests and trials that I've been having, not all the time are they with like regular people off the street. Sometimes they're like people in professional settings that would just try to play with you. Just get into that habit of just elegantly making that lump form in a throat, making a heart drop into their booty crack because they know they can't play with you. Eat them up. It's a peaceful way to stand on your boundaries, and it's effective without you getting locked up or going to jail, or without you losing any opportunities or looking crazy. But if you don't mind looking crazy, you know, and you got every right to get crazy, I'm all for that too. Crashing out is part of the healing process. Just don't go to jail. This sounds like toxic advice, but you're in a situation where you have every right to be hurt. Please express that. Let that out. Get that out your system, okay? Just don't go to jail. It is what it is. It's a part of the healing process. Get that out your system one good time, especially if you look like you're not the type to crash out. If like your voice is soft and you got like a very peaceful, demure, cutesy kind of look, you might just have to get them to crash out just one good time. Let it out one good time. It's okay. You got my permission. Being humble is overrated. I believe it's important to be humble, but I don't believe in spending my energy trying to prove that I'm humble to people that are going to be threatened by me anyway. You want to be humble, but you want to be careful of people that want to humble you. It's weird out here. People that are going to be offended by you thinking highly of yourself, I don't understand them type of people, because never in my natural black life have I looked at another person that was confident, or looked at another person that thought highly of themselves and thought that that was a reason for me to be mad at them, or thought that that was a reason that I needed to beef with them. It doesn't make sense. You're supposed to think highly of yourself. Like, how exactly are you supposed to become the best version of yourself or pursue greatness if you don't even feel like you're capable of that? You're supposed to know that you're extraordinary. You're supposed to know that you're capable of doing what no one else can do, because you are an individual and you're special. You're amazing. You're extraordinary. That's what you're supposed to think. So I never really understood that one, or why that's such like a detrimental thing, trying to make sure that the next person is humble. Whenever I hear somebody say that, I'm just always like, okay, you mad, you a hater. That's weird. Bye. So I think it's overrated. I don't get it. You know, be humble, because life can humble you. Obviously God has the power to humble you, but I would not break my neck trying to prove that I'm humble. It's weird, and I don't think anybody should do that. As long as you're not putting anybody down or disrespecting anybody, nobody should be offended by you thinking highly of yourself. This is a bad bitch safe space. You're supposed to think like that. Focus on the things that you can control. If it's out of your control, girl, know how to be independent, know how to stand on your own, so you don't get sucked into situations that you can't get out of. To completely depend on anyone, it's just dangerous. That princess life is amazing, but truly have your own bag and be able to give that life to yourself as well. At the same time, a support system is a flex, whether it's your family, whether it's your man. And this is not to encourage laziness or dependence, but when you have people in your life that love you and don't want you to fall apart, don't want you to struggle, that's a blessing. That's a flex. Don't take that for granted. Cherish that, appreciate that, embrace that. And I wouldn't even try to hide that. I give all of my accomplishments and everything, like, I credit that to me 100%. But there is a system of love and support behind me where I can genuinely say life would have looked a lot different without the people that love me in it. Even just, you know, this entire situation with this stroke. Like I said, these past few months have been just really a curveball, because as soon as I got out the hospital from that stroke, I wasn't working and I couldn't even go back to live by myself. But my family was like, don't worry about either one of those things right now. That's not the priority. Your health is the priority. And no matter what it is, if life at any point knocks me down, my family is there, like, get back up. We're here. Come here. Life should be easy and stable and soft and less stressful as possible. Struggle is not a part of the goal. And in this economy and in this age, there is no shame of leaning on the people that love you. That's a huge blessing. Cherish that. Embrace that. Self-awareness is a superpower. It's the answer to understanding your strengths, your weaknesses, and it helps you read people's intentions for wanting to be in your life. Like, know who you are and know what you can control, and know the things that are completely out of your control. And check yourself. Accountability improves character. If you know you could have handled that better, admit that. Stop gaslighting people. Take accountability. It will help you grow. It really improves you as a person to be like, that was a hot mess. I did not need to do that. I need to work on that. I'm gonna do better. Relationship status does not equal self-worth. Learn how to detach the two. Whether you're in a relationship or not, that shouldn't define you or define your value as a person. I say this because I've seen so many women feel lost if they're not in a relationship, but at the same time, I've seen women lose themselves when they get into a relationship. And girl, neither one of them are a good look. How you act and behave in a relationship, that definitely says a lot about how you treat people. But if you're not in a relationship, or whether you are, don't attach your self-worth to that. Date yourself first. Spoil yourself, all that. Spend some time getting to know yourself and treating yourself and knowing how you want to be treated. Before you get out there, love yourself. Block negative energy in the beginning. Don't just recognize it, clock it. When a person is jealous of you or miserable and attaches themselves to you, sometimes it's hard to know exactly what they're doing or why they're doing that. And the more time you spend trying to dissect and analyze their behavior, each thing that they do one by one, you are giving them more time and more access to continue to be weird in your life. The intention is to destroy you. Sometimes it's hard to recognize what these people are doing in your life and why. I just want to say it really doesn't matter. Misery and jealousy doesn't necessarily have any logic behind it. It's just know that misery loves company. So that entire time you sitting there scratching your head, please don't scratch it anymore trying to figure it out. It might be hard trying to recognize what they're doing. What's not hard is to sense the negative energy. I can always sense when somebody is trying to drain me. Jealous people are like mosquitoes. It's kind of just like a like what is this on me? Like I feel something trying to like pull. I feel something trying to pull me. What is this? Like, if you notice at any time that you're happy and a person is always sad or depressed or finds negativity in your happiness, or they're happy when you're experiencing negativity, when there's chaos or disappointment or sadness in your life, all of a sudden they get excited. It'd be that type of stuff right there. And because it shows up in so many weird ways, I wouldn't even advise you to try to dissect one by one. Why would they make that comment? Why would they? The stuff that they would do, you wouldn't even like realize that it's intentional. But the red flags be in them jokes. They be in them jokes disguised negative comments that pop up out of nowhere when you're experiencing something positive. I strongly advise you to clock this. Clock it. Don't just recognize it, clock it. When you come across a person like this, understand that initially they might not have even have had the intention to be that way in your life. They might have came in there thinking that something about you or something about your life or something about your personality, they feel like if they stick themselves to you, that will rub off on them, not realizing that that's just not how life works. These are the type of people that will get mad at you for winning a secret competition that they created in their head against you that you didn't even know you were a part of. And you know why you winning? Because the competition is to be you. All you gotta do is clock, like, I know I wouldn't do that to my friends. I know I wouldn't do that to anybody that I love. Bye. Know the difference between a friend and a fan. Them people that are infatuated with you and just want to be around you but have nothing to pour into your life, that is not a friendship. They just know so much about you. You don't know anything about them, and they're so infatuated with you, and you find yourself just like, where is your style? Where is your personality? What do you like? That's not a friendship. And it's okay to be inspired by people, but notice when that person is just trying too hard to be like you. It's not necessarily a negative energy, but it's one where it's just not equally yoked. It's not balanced. Y'all are not on the same page. This person is not a friend. Like, that's not a friendship. Prioritize quality over quantity in friendships. This one is obvious. Your circle should be full of genuine friendships, genuine love. Quality over quantity every time. Master low-cost self-care. Create a list of hobbies that you can explore, a free course you might want to take, library, journal, museum. But there is a such thing as romanticizing life without hurting your pockets. Like social media nowadays, it's just a huge commercial, like something you feel like you gotta have this in your house, you gotta have this in your life. You know, it could look real luxurious and all of that and real aesthetic and but it ain't gotta be all that. But sometimes it's simply a glass of wine and a bubble bath and a robe and going to bed. Or it's a good book or a journal, a cup of hot chocolate and a blanket, and you can get all that from Amazon for under $40. Self-care is whatever you want it to be. Self-care is you just prioritizing steps to improve your well-being and make you feel better. You know, it could be anything, just don't let it be crack. And this one is very similar, but I also want to say master low-cost self-maintenance. Definitely, by all means, treat yourself, pamper yourself, you know, get your appointments in order and everything like that. But you should be able to at least have some type of skills or default to where if you're not able to schedule an appointment, if you're not able to afford an appointment, where it comes to maintaining yourself, you don't have to walk out the house looking crazy. Find that default look. You know what I mean? Learn how to be a baddie on a budget. Itemize your goals. Certain things could just seem so impossible until you just break them down into smaller steps and just take that progress each and every day. One thing about me, like, I'm gonna put a checkbox next to something small, and I think you should celebrate those small accomplishments. Like, yeah, I did go to the post office today. I did apply for my passport. Breathe and take breaks. Everything is not grind season. You're human. Heal, breathe. Okay? Get your passport. Why do you not have a passport? Get your passport. Journal often. Coming from a writer myself, you knew I was gonna throw that one in there. It's just a good method to document your mental growth. Your journey is different. You ever notice like a person trying to copy you and it's just like an epic fail? That's because your story is different. Your childhood is different. Your trauma is different. Your goals are different. Your journey is different. Girl, you're just different. Know yourself and be yourself. There's beauty in every stage. As much of a curveball as this entire situation with my health has been, I've been able to just appreciate this stage of life where I'm able to just heal inside and out. Just appreciate the stage you're in, because at some point, you know, you look back and you kind of like just get that nostalgic feeling where you feel like you want to cry, like, dang, like things were just so much easier back then. When you are constantly worrying about the next step and the next stage and the next part of life, it's really easy to forget that you might be in the middle of a blessing that you prayed for. You're in the middle of a moment that you used to look forward to. Enjoy the little things. And that's the 29 things that every woman should know. If you agree with any of these 29 things, go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. If one of these is your favorite or really stuck out to you, let me know. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see y'all in my next video.